The year is 1968, and a serial killer known only as the Zodiac is terrorizing Northern California. He has already claimed 2 victims, but it's only the beginning. As the body count rises, so does the killer's notoriety. The police are baffled and the public is terrified. But as the killings continue, so do the strange and cryptic messages that the killer sends to the press. What becomes clear is that this is no ordinary murderer. This is someone who wants to play a deadly game with the police and the media. He calls himself the Zodiac, and he's just getting started. This is the story of the Zodiac Killer, one of the most notorious serial killers of all time. And while there have been many documentaries made about the case, what if I told you that there's something in plain sight that they've all missed? In today's video, we will take a closer look at the case and see if we can find the hidden secret that has been overlooked for decades. It all began in December of 1968 when 2 teenagers were found shot to death in a secluded area of Northern California. The killer had left behind a note claiming responsibility for the crime and taunting the police to catch him. Soon, similar crimes began to be reported in other parts of the state, and it became clear that there was a serial killer on the loose. The killer would strike again and again, leaving behind cryptic messages that became known as the Zodiac ciphers. These messages were written in a code that baffled the police for years and added to the mystery surrounding the killer's identity. But there was more to these messages than met the eye. While most people assumed that they were simply a way for the killer to taunt the authorities, some believe that there is a much darker secret hidden within them. But before we dive into that, let's take a closer look at the case itself. The Zodiac Killer is believed to have operated in Northern California in the late 1960s and early 1970s. The first confirmed victim was David Faraday, a 17-year-old high school student who was shot alongside his 14-year-old girlfriend, Betty Lou Jensen, in December of 1968. The couple was found in a secluded area of Vallejo, California, and the killer had left behind a note claiming responsibility for their deaths. The police quickly linked this crime to a similar one that had occurred just a month earlier, in which 2 other teenagers had been found murdered in the same area. As the investigation continued, it became clear that there was a serial killer on the loose and the public was terrified. The killer would go on to claim several more victims over the next few years, always leaving behind cryptic messages that became known as the Zodiac ciphers. One of the most famous of these ciphers was sent to the San Francisco Chronicle and read, "I like to hunt." The police have been unable to decipher the meaning of these ciphers for years, but some believe that they hold a secret key to the killer's identity. Others believe that they are simply a way for the killer to taunt the authorities. What if I told you that these ciphers may hold more than just a secret key to the killer's identity? What if they also hold a message from beyond the grave? Some believe that the Zodiac Killer was more than just a deranged murderer, that he was a conduit between the world of the living and the dead. They believe that the ciphers are not just a way for him to taunt the police, but a way for him to communicate with those who are still alive. Some believe that the ciphers contain hidden instructions or messages from beyond the grave, and it's possible that they may hold the key to understanding the killer's motives and identity. So, let's take a closer look at these ciphers and see if we can uncover the hidden secret that they hold. The Zodiac Killer's messages were written in a variety of ciphers, from simple substitutions to more complex codes. One of the most famous ciphers is the 340 cipher, which reads, "I hope you find this letter and the enclosed puzzles as amusing as I did in making them. Sincerely, the author." When decoded, this message revealed that the killer was taking pleasure in his crimes and that he enjoyed tormenting the police and the public. It also gave insight into his state of mind and showed that he was not afraid to boast about his crimes. Another famous cipher was sent to the San Francisco Chronicle and read, "This is the midnight hour. So make your last wishes, for this is the last time I offer you the chance." This message was particularly chilling as it suggested that the killer was close to striking again and that time was running out. It created a sense of urgency and fear among the public and the police alike. But it's not just the content of the ciphers that is intriguing. it's also the way that they were written. Some believe that the very way that the ciphers were written is a clue to the killer's identity. One theory is that the killer was left-handed. This is based on the fact that some of the ciphers appear to have been written with the left hand, which was unusual at the time as most people wrote with their right hand. Another theory is that the killer had a unique writing style, possibly influenced by his upbringing or education. Some believe that the spacing and punctuation of the ciphers are clues to the killer's identity. But perhaps the most intriguing aspect of the ciphers is the fact that they were never truly decoded. While some parts of the messages were deciphered, others remain unsolved to this day. This has led some to believe that the ciphers may contain a secret key to the killer's identity or even his location. Some believe that the ciphers are an ongoing puzzle that the killer left behind as a final taunt to the police. Others believe that the ciphers are a way for the killer to communicate with those who are still alive, perhaps trying to send a message to his victims or their families. One of the most popular theories is that the killer was communicating with the devil. This theory is based on the fact that some of the ciphers contain satanic symbols and imagery. Additionally, the killer claimed to be the beast of Revelation in one of his letters, leading some to believe that he was a Satanist. However, there is no concrete evidence to support this theory, and it remains just that, a theory. Some believe that the ciphers are not just a way for the killer to communicate with the devil, but also a way for him to summon demonic entities. This theory is based on the fact that some of the ciphers contain what appear to be summoning rituals or incantations. Additionally, the killer claimed to be a prophet in some of his messages, leading some to believe that he believed himself to be a conduit between the world of the living and the dead. This belief may have led him to believe that he could summon demonic entities to do his bidding. While there is no concrete evidence to support this theory, it is an interesting perspective on the killer's state of mind and motivations. These theories are just a few of the many that surround the Zodiac killer and his cryptic ciphers. While there is no evidence to support any of them, they provide an interesting look into the mind of a serial killer and the lengths to which he would go to taunt the police and the public. But what if there's more to these ciphers than meets the eye? What if they are not just a way for a killer to communicate, but a way for him to connect with something beyond our understanding? The idea that the Zodiac killer was a Satanist, or that he summoned demonic entities through his ciphers, is certainly a chilling thought. If true, it would suggest that he was not just a madman, but someone who believed himself to be a conduit between the world of the living and the dead. However, it's important to remember that these are just theories, and there is no concrete evidence to support them. The Zodiac killer's ciphers remain a mystery to this day, and it's possible that they may never be fully decoded. But that does not mean that we should dismiss the possibility that they contain something more than just a secret key to the killer's identity. The idea that the killer had access to knowledge or powers beyond our understanding is a fascinating one. If true, it would suggest that there is more to our reality than we know, and who knows what secrets the universe holds. While we may never know the full story behind the Zodiac killer and his cryptic messages, we can appreciate the mystery and intrigue that surrounds his case. The idea that he was a conduit between the worlds of the living and the dead is a chilling one, and it's possible that there is some truth to it. After all, the universe is a vast and mysterious place, and we can never be sure what secrets it holds. Thank you for watching.